Welcome to the South Ops Fire Weather Webcast for Monday, November 4th. I'm your host, Kristen Stewart. After a period of cool and moist weather, with unfortunately just a little bit of precipitation, the Santa Ana winds have finally arrived over Southern California. You can see from the visible satellite imagery that there are no clouds around as the dry offshore flow keeps them away. Expect abundant sunshine and a bit of warming west of the coastal slopes to start the work week, though watch out for the gusty Santa Ana winds if you're out in Southern California. As the deep trough that brought us the cooler and wetter weather continues its trek eastward over the desert southwest, a ridge of high pressure will nudge into the region from the East Pacific. This will give way to strong surface high pressure developing across the Great Basin, which in turn increases the offshore pressure gradient over Southern California. As a result of this tightening gradient, gusty Santa Ana winds have developed across the mountains and valleys of Southern California this morning. Current surface wind observations are showing widespread gusts of 25 to 45 miles an hour across the most wind-prone areas from Ventura County and southeastward. Typically gustier areas across the mountain ridges and canyons are gusting as high as 60 miles an hour and may even exceed that at times. Expect to see a continuation of these winds through the morning, then winds will slowly taper off this afternoon, though breezy winds will continue through the evening. There will be slight warming today with the offshore flow, especially for the downslope areas of Southern California, but more significantly, there will be rapid drying. By later this morning and into the afternoon, humidity looks to drop into the 10 to 20% range across a widespread area of Southern California, and locally down to 8% for the driest and windiest spots. The combination of gusty offshore winds and low humidity will lead to a sharp increase in fire danger for Southern California, especially since those areas did not get any meaningful precipitation this weekend. Red flag warnings are in effect through this afternoon for much of LA and Ventura counties, as well as the San Bernardino Mountains and the Inland Empire. One thing of note is that with the recent cool and moist conditions, fuel moisture will be a bit of a limiting factor, along with the fact that this will be a short duration event and humidities are fairly marginal. However, that does not negate the fact that this will be a dangerous situation, especially in advance of our next Santa Ana wind event this week. Quiet weather is expected on Tuesday with lighter winds, but it will remain quite dry. Overall fire potential should lower to more moderate levels as the winds ease. There will be breezy northerly winds across the higher terrain and central coast, which would lead to widespread elevated fire weather conditions. Some additional warming is expected with high pressure overhead, with highs returning to the 70s in a lot of valley spots. So now let's look at how the overall large-scale weather pattern is expected to evolve through the week. As I mentioned earlier, the deep trough that brought cool and moist conditions will continue to exit to the east today as high pressure from the eastern Pacific nudges into California. There is now increasing confidence in a deep and cold trough dropping southward into the Great Basin and desert southwest late Tuesday through Thursday, which will bring another Santa Ana wind event. In fact, it will likely be stronger than the event today. More on that in a bit. This trough will then pass to the east on Friday, and high pressure will return for a quiet weather for the weekend. Now that we have increasing confidence in the second Santa Ana wind event this week, let's get into some details. Model projections have now come into good agreement in a stronger, more widespread, and longer duration Santa Ana wind event than the one today. This second event will peak on Wednesday at strong levels. Projections indicate widespread northeast winds gusting around 40 to 60 miles an hour for the wind-prone mountain ridges, canyons, and valleys of Southern California on Wednesday. There will likely be localized gusts as high as 80 miles an hour or higher for the most wind-prone ridges and canyons. Locally gusty winds will also filter into the coastal plains, as well as the higher terrain of the central coast. The event weakens some on Thursday, which will become more of a moderate event, leading to widespread gusts of 30 to 50 miles an hour. Very low daytime humidity will continue for Wednesday and Thursday, likely drier than today. There will likely be widespread minimums of 8 to 15% across the region, along with widespread poor recoveries across windiest spots. Thursday looks to be the drier day. As a result, another round of critical fire weather conditions is expected for Southern California. Due to the rapid drying of the fuels during today's event and a lack of recovery time, there is more concern for fire weather issues for the second, longer-lasting event for Wednesday and Thursday. Fire potential will significantly increase over Southern California today with moderate Santa Ana winds and low humidity. Due to the lack of precipitation this weekend, there is a high risk of large fire activity for the south coast and western mountains. With lighter winds on Tuesday, Overall fire potential should lower to more moderate levels, but elevated fire weather conditions are likely across much of Southern California, especially for the breezier spots. Fire danger will then become very high on Wednesday and Thursday, especially since fuels will have been primed following today's event. The fire weather pattern on Wednesday and Thursday is extremely critical. This type of pattern has been associated with some of the worst fires in Southern California history. Any fires in wind-prone areas on Wednesday and Thursday will have the potential to exhibit extreme fire behavior and may show total resistance to any control methods. This will be a very high-impact event considering we still have not received significant precipitation for our region, so stay alert. And that's all I have for today. Thanks for tuning in. Our next webcast will be on Tuesday, November 5th. Have a fantastic day and please stay safe.